Welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a look at Khabib Nurmagomedov's, in my opinion, delusional claim that Arman Tsarukyan would defeat Ilia Topuria in the stand-up, that Ilia Topuria has no chance against the likes of Arman Tsarukyan. Let's see the quote. "I can't see any chances for Topuria. Even in the striking exchanges, Arman is too good. He's good at controlling the distance. He has better kicks, and also Arman has plenty of material to watch and study." Well, we're going to watch and study. We're going to take a look today. We're going to break it down, and we're going to compare who actually has the better stand-up, the better striking between the two, Ilia Topuria and Arman Tsarukyan. And we're going to prove that Khabib doesn't know what he's talking about, because the noticers among us, the smart people among us, will remember when Khabib was saying that Khamzat Chimaev should stand and trade with Dricus du Plessis, and that was a ridiculous take, was it not? So here he comes with another one, another ridiculous take. So here we have the first round between Charles Oliveira and Arman Tsarukyan. Now, as we know, this fight was mostly a grappling affair, but all fights start on the feet. We start the fight with Oliveira opening with a leg kick. This is typical from Oliveira. Arman Tsarukyan fires back with a head kick. It just misses, they're just out of range. Ilia follows up in response to that with a nice little oblique kick. We want to take a look at that. Throws the head kick. Ilia's response is an oblique kick. Arman pulling his leg back and extending it all the way in response to that is actually not good. That's not good defensively. That's how you get your knee blown out, by an oblique kick. I'm just putting that out. It's not. Obviously, it didn't happen this time, but that is the mistake that people make that gets your knee blown out, is trying to check the kick by extending your knee fully, and then they kick it and it hyperextends the wrong way. Not good. That's how you blow your knee out. Moving on. Nice little level change from Arman. That was very interesting. I know it didn't look like much, but that right there is actually high-level striking from Arman Tsarukyan. Let's take another look real quick. Arman engages, he drops down low, gives a different look, you know, he mixes up the levels, he fakes that he's going low, fakes that he's possibly going to shoot, and that makes Oliveira start backing up. Oliveira backs up, Arman takes the bait, he engages, but he sees it. He sees the trap before Oliveira gets the chance to spring it. You see, Oliveira was backing up, and you can see he even like continues to back up by spreading out. Ooh, I'm in the way. Let me move my head and move myself over here. So this right here is important. As Oliveira backs up, he's setting a trap. He wants Arman to engage. He wants Arman to try and clear the void. That's a reference to Demetrius Johnson, how he does his breakdowns. This space right here in the middle, this is the void. For the fight to really start fighting, someone's got to cross this void. That's what a whole fight is about, is someone trying to cross this void. Arman is attempting to cross the void. He's edging in slowly. He's giving Oliveira different looks, and Oliveira gives him the space. He respects him and gives him the space, and he moves back. But this is a trap. You see, Arman is advancing in, and Oliveira is setting up to counter. And you can see this because he does step back, but he plants his foot. This foot right here, and this stance, is him getting ready to fire back. Arman recognizes this, and as Khabib said, Arman is good at recognizing distance, because he does respond to this and he reacts by dipping back out. And you can see on Oliveira's face as well, it is worth mentioning, I'm not talking out my ass, Oliveira's face, if we take a look, he looks a little bit disheartened by the fact that Arman managed to spot this little trap he was setting. You could see that he's a little bit disheartened by this, and he's like, okay, back to the drawing board. This is something that Oliveira likes to do. He likes to make you commit, and then he just stands his ground and trades with you. That's a stand. Oliveira doesn't mind if he gets knocked down. He's confident he can grapple. Let me move myself back to a neutral corner, and we'll continue. Nice little leg kick. Arman throughout this fight really good with his jab. His jab is good, but it does things like that. You see, when he starts to get comfortable, we'll go back. When he starts to get comfortable with his jab, he just starts throwing it for no reason. He just starts flicking it out, flicking it out. He even probes with it. He feints with it. The whole time, his left hand is moving the whole time. He's prodding, he's measuring, and normally that's good. But sometimes when you do this within range, it gets you caught. So he's faking up top, but Oliveira knows that the jab is more for finding him more so than hurting him. So that's why he's happy to eat a few jabs, and you'll see that throughout this fight. Oliveira's a guy who likes to take a punch anyway. He's pretty tough. Boom, right there. So, don't forget that when you measure the distance with a jab, your opponent can use your jab to measure it too. And that's something that Oliveira did right here. He's seen the distance of the jab. He's seen Arman load up for that kick. If we'll go back a little bit. Boom. There's a little stutter step. There's a little stutter as Arman tries to make just a little bit more space to step in. Let's see, yeah. Little tiny stutter step, a little tiny telegraph. And Oliveira uses that to time it. And he manages to get under. And he manages to catch the leg of Arman and sweep him to the ground. Countering his kick, his body kick. Potentially a head kick. It was going high. But that might have been because he started to fall. We're now in a grappling exchange. We're going to skip ahead because we're not here for the grappling exchange. I think the grappling between Ilia Topuria and Arman Tsarukyan should be fairly close. And I think it will come down to the stand-up in this fight. Because I really do. I think it'll come down to the stand-up. But that remains to be seen. It'd be a harder video to break down the grappling of the two and try and compare. It's very difficult to do that. But striking wise, that's more my wheelhouse. So let's go into round 2. Because that fight stays on the ground for the rest of that round, you know? That's just how it goes. I've got a lot written down on the notes, so bear with me here. Bear with me. Nice trade of kicks, nice exchange of kicks. Arman again, busy with the jab, measuring the distance, but again, he's too proactive with the jab. It's a jab, feint, jab, feint, jab. And Oliveira has now made the read that once he lands a jab, he's going to feint with the jab 2 or 3 times before he throws another one. That's kind of the style of Arman so far, and Oliveira's picked up on that. And so he times a beautiful counter. So as you'll see, they exchange the kicks once again. Nice high kick from Oliveira. There we go. The jabs. He goes again. It's the 3rd time. So he throws the double jab. And now Oliveira is expecting him to feint. And he feints it. He feints the jab. And now he knows he's going to try and feint another jab. So the second he sees his arm move to feint that second jab, Oliveira comes right over with the overhand, right over the jab, leans right into it, eats the jab himself, but he kind of comes in and stops the full extension of the punch and kind of smothers it to land his own punch. And it hurts Arman. That one shot actually hurts Arman and changes his whole modus operandi for the rest of this round. Now Arman is on his bike. He's going to circle. Right there, he's getting some points back. That's good. Beautiful little knee on the exit from that clinch. So Oliveira clinches up with Arman to try and smother him again and stop him from getting full extension on his punches, which drastically reduces the amount of damage dealt. Oliveira's a tricky customer, but Arman's expecting this now. And he uses the clinch, clinches up himself, and then immediately breaks and manages to get a very sneaky knee off that break. We'll take a look at it again. It is a very sneaky knee. I think it's right into the solar plexus of Oliveira as well as the exit. Lovely combination. Boom. Right to the solar plexus. And see, Oliveira's not advancing as aggressively as before. He's still advancing, he's still coming forward, but the ferocity's gone. You can tell it definitely knocked the wind out of him just a little bit. And some beautiful combinations as well from Arman now. The axe kick, of course, just misses. I mean, the commentary say it lands. It did touch Oliveira, it did touch Olives, it did touch Charlie Olives, the king. But, I mean, when it's the sole of the foot and it kind of strokes down your chest, it's not really a damaging shot, is it? Beautiful jabs again from Arman. Arman is good at managing distance. He really is good at managing distance. He's good at running away. Boom, he enters in. Again with the jab. The jab is the most important tool of Arman. Everything comes from the jab. Boom, there we go. We're on the ground now. So, a lovely trap, to be fair. A lovely trap set by Arman for Oliveira. Backs himself into the corner of the cage. We've already seen he has the footwork to get off the cage. Right here, he can even fight his way off the cage if he wants to. He has the ability to do it. He circles around, lets himself he settles there. He settles there and lets Oliveira commit to engaging, and then he drops low and goes for the leg. It is a good scramble. It's a beautiful scramble. Anyway, back to the back to the stand-up. Back to the stand-up. None of this grappling. None of this grappling. We'll do a different video on the grappling. It'll take way longer to break it down. It'll take like an hour to break. It'll take an hour to break down a round. Round 3. Arman opened up with a head kick. Just misses. The pace is slowed a little bit now in the 3rd round, but we're going to look to pick it up. Arman again active with the jab. Oliveira charges in with a flying knee attempt, but it's horrifically telegraphed. Boom, that right there. Let's go back. Let's go back just a little bit, and we'll see this lovely combination from Arman. Lovely combo. So right there, he throws the jab. The jab doesn't even land, but the jab obscures the view of Oliveira. It just touches the gloves. It literally just touches the gloves. So that literally, it touched the wrist, the wrist of the glove. It wasn't even a powerful shot. It was just measuring. And then following up, boom, big right hand, big body kick. Really good striking, really good striking, really good distance management. Again, Khabib doesn't seem to be taking the piss. Excellent jab again. Mixing it up a little bit. Oliveira landing some good shots of his own. So, Arman now switching to a kind of check hook instead of a jab. Fair enough, it's good to mix things up. We are in the final round, so it's good to give him a new look and just give him something else to think about. Shots aren't very powerful, they're more probing. Maybe he's trying to pull the hand down so he can land something big in that gap that he creates. Oliveira still pressuring forward. Falls for the feint, going low. Arman clinching up. Ooh, ooh. Good elbows on the break from Arman. And we're back on the stand-up. Slappy little leg kick there. Landed with mostly toes. Nice little combination from Arman. Oliveira doesn't manage to follow up with that second shot. The first one lands, but it's not very strong. Arman shoots in for a takedown again. It's stuffed by Oliveira, who lands a knee to the body. Arman does seem a lot slower in this 3rd round, but it's a crazy pace fight. Crazy paced fight. And he is winning. And he is winning. Fakes low again, but this time Oliveira doesn't bite on it. He's doing good. He's doing good with the jab. It is good range management. It is good range management, to be fair. Lovely, lovely. Gets it, lands. Oliveira lands a body kick, and he answers back. Arman answers back with a 1-2. Nice little head kick, a naked head kick as well, and it lands partially. Shoots in for the takedown with 2 minutes 35 seconds on the clock, and he gets it. And I do believe the fight remains on the ground from here. Indeed it do. Indeed it do. So there you have the striking breakdown between Arman and Oliveira. So now here we are with Charles Oliveira versus Ilia Topuria. We all know what happens. It's very sad. It's very, very sad. We're going to get through it as fast as we can, guys. It's good thing it's quick, like ripping off a plaster or a band-aid for you Americans. But we're going to get through it really quickly. We know Oliveira's a fan favourite. I'm particularly a fan favourite. But we're going to have to watch this because, you know, we need to know. We need to know. So skipping ahead. Let's get into this scrapola. The fight starts aggressive. Oliveira opens with a leg kick, but immediately Topuria is inside the distance, in the pocket, trying to land damage. Oliveira teeps him back to make some space, but Topuria is once again right in there on him, not giving him a second of space. He's going to meet him in the middle. The two trade like crazy. Oliveira does land a nice right hand. It's probably the best exchange, the best shot in the exchange. Going to Oliveira. Oliveira shoots because, to be honest, although Oliveira landed the best punch, the accumulation of Ilia's was probably more damage, if that makes sense. So immediately Oliveira's like, let's try the grappling. Let's try and get this to the ground. Let's try and give you some... Let's try and slow you down and give you something else to think about. Nice knees to the body. Ilia struggling, but manages to stay on top as well. Really good, really good. We're not doing a grappling breakdown like I said, but really good hip control, really good hip placement to be able to land on top as well. We'll skip through the grappling to the leg lock situation. Ilia does indeed escape the leg lock situation, although it does look like a moment of panic. Perhaps the leg locks are a weakness for Ilia. Ilia now on top, but he's looking to disengage. He gets out, and it looks like this fight is getting stood back up. Here we go. This is the beginning of the end. Ilia steps in with a jab, lands a 1-2, eats a knee to the body. Oliveira desperately trying to clinch up. He is hurt and he is cut. Even Ilia's jabs are hurting Oliveira. That's the difference. The speed too. The speed. Ilia's in there landing 4 shots in the space of time that it took. There we go. It's over. Ilia's in there in the space, landing 4 or 5 shots in the space of time it took Arman to land 2 or 3. Now both guys are fast, but for Ilia to be landing 2-3 more punches in the same amount of time, that is a blistering hand speed difference. We've seen Oliveira try to maintain the distance because that's what Arman's going to try and do. Arman likes to play at the distance and then dart in. Ilia Topuria isn't a guy that's going to let you play the range game against him. He's going to keep coming forward and he's going to keep closing that difference. He's going to keep dashing in under your shots. He's going to keep finding a way inside and he's going to stay inside because he's comfortable there. He's not going to let you keep running away. So right about... Where is it? Right at the start of the fight, the leg kick from Oliveira, immediately a right hand from Topuria, and Oliveira definitely felt it because immediately he's trying to re-establish that distance. Like, he doesn't want Ilia this close to him. Powerful shots, powerful shots from Ilia. Keep away. That's what those teeps are. That's Oliveira trying to maintain the distance between the two. But Ilia immediately just in there, eating leg kicks to do it as well. Just immediately in there. Happy to trade the jab for a leg kick, a firm leg kick as well. And if you engage with him in the pocket and try and catch him, he's happy to go with you there. He's happy to stay there and roll with you. So one last time, let's go over this finishing sequence, shall we? Stand up. Both stood inside range. Ilia steps forward with a jab, lands some nice combinations there, so some 3s and 4s. They clinch up, Ilia escapes. Oliveira trying to land shots and then clinch up and try and negate some of the energy. Oh, look at this. Brutal. Jab to the body, jab to the head. Right hook, left hook to sleep. Here's the thing. I think Ilia is a lot faster than Arman. I think Ilia's probably twice as fast as Arman, if I'm so bold in saying. Seeing the hand speed difference between the two against Oliveira, it's clear to see. Arman is dashing in and he's landing 2-3 punches. Ilia's darting in there and he's landing 4 and 5 punches. He's getting off at least 2 punches more in the same amount of time as Arman. And that is enough to finish Topuria. That is enough to finish Oliveira. My apologies. That's enough to finish him. Arman couldn't finish him. Arman had to shoot. Arman got rocked in the second round. I know Arman won the second round, but Arman got hurt in the second round. That first right hand from Oliveira in the second round, that hurt Arman. And that changed up his whole game plan for that round. He had to play the range game. And I think he's going to try and do that with Topuria, but Topuria's footwork is better. Topuria's faster. It's a tough one. I think Arman's best bet is probably to try and grapple. And Ilia's a great grappler as well, so it's going to be a good grappler match between the two. But honestly, in conclusion, I think Khabib's wrong. I don't think Arman really is going to be able to compare to Ilia Topuria in the stand-up. I think grappling-wise, he's got a great chance. I think grappling-wise, he's probably a really tough test for Ilia. But when it comes to the stand-up, I think Ilia's faster. Ilia most certainly 100% hits harder. Arman's got good distance management with that jab. Arman's good at reading the range and closing the distance. Ilia Topuria doesn't need to read the range. He will just walk into range. He's happy to. He will walk you down. He will just dart into range and he will throw a combination that'll be up to 6 punches. And what is Arman going to do in that situation? He's going to back up and Ilia's going to keep pressing. Ilia's footwork is incredible. Ilia can cut off the cage. You can't escape Ilia Topuria if he's hunting you down. It'll be interesting to see, but I think Khabib is way off base here. Really, really do, as a layman. As a layman, man. But yeah, I think Khabib way off base here. I don't think Arman should really... Obviously, Arman's going to have to trade with him in the stand-up. Of course, that's going to have to happen because every fight starts standing, like I said at the start of this video. But Arman should be using his grappling as his striking as a tool to get to his grappling, right? He should be looking like he wants to stand with Ilia Topuria and then immediately shooting to the ground, and he wants to clinch up and he wants to be going for trips and sweeps. He's not as tall as Oliveira. Arman is not as tall as Oliveira. And so that might play an effect. A lot of the time with the grappling in this fight between Oliveira, I know it's very short, but this fight between Oliveira and Topuria, when it came to the grappling, even though Topuria is shorter and looks physically smaller, he was able to get under. Charles Oliveira. So when Oliveira would try and knock him off balance or trip him, he would just tuck himself under Oliveira basically, and then then Oliveira's off balance. And it means Oliveira now has to readdress his own balance, and that gives Ilia the chance to escape. It's very high-level stuff. Maybe I could do a breakdown on it, but I think it would be very difficult. I'd have to try and devise a way to do it. It's much easier to just say, look, that guy punched, that guy faked the punch, and then that guy thought he was going to punch and got caught. It's easier. It's easier to break it down. I can't break down the grappling if you'd like, but that'd be a long video, and it'd be a video for another day. But yeah, so that's my breakdown of a potential matchup between Arman Tsarukyan and Ilia Topuria. I think Khabib's way off base. I think Ilia has much, much better stand-up compared to Arman. Arman's best hope in the stand-up is to jab and run, and not really try and engage beyond shooting a takedown, I think, in my opinion. I think if he tries to trade with Ilia, he's going to get caught, and he's going to get caught early. But thank you very much for watching all the way until the end. If you enjoyed this video, consider leaving me a like. Subscribe for more. And until next time, keep your chin down and keep swinging. Peace and love. I'll see you around.